Right, I'm back because deadline day is popping off.
Way so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that, my word, the aperture is high, isn't it? Let's crank this down a little bit. Oh, that's probably the sweet spot, I'd have to say. Yes, we're back for Chelsea news. It is deadline day. I will almost certainly be doing another video later this evening when it slams shut the window, but loads of stuff's popping off, so I simply have to react to the news here. I will be citing off X aggregators and talking about moves elsewhere. Usually I'll screen share and there'll be like, stuff up in the screen, but because of how quickly things are popping off, I just want to deliver you the news here and give you my thoughts on it. I think this is the best way to do it for the moment. So welcome on back. As always, thank you for your continued support here on Football Therapy. OG GOAT Gang, very pleased to have you here. By the way, if you are a member, some new stickers are coming. Very fun, as well as a membership badge. It's a way you can support the channel. Just like liking, subscribing, and hyping. Hype points. New and fun. Alright. So shout out CFC PYS or Pice on X. I will be using him as a form of aggregation here today for this Chelsea news update. Worth mentioning as well, Tottenham have got a here we go for Randal Kolo Muani, a much desired centre forward who couldn't get his loan to Juve, where he was previously on loan before. He wanted to transfer or continued loan, whatever. He couldn't stay at Juve. He's going to Tottenham. Now, Chelsea fans understandably feeling Tottenham have had a better transfer window than Chelsea. I mean, I really like Delap and really like Joao Pedro. And of course, the arrival of Stevao was amazing, but we sealed that a while ago. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Gittins and Garnacho. Got returning players like Santos and Lavia to come back into the fold. Chelsea have got a good team. But if you look in isolation at the high-profile quality of Mohamed Kudus, a player we looked at, of Xavi Simons, a player we looked at, and of course, historically, we have looked at Randal Kolo Muani. Granted, he's only a loan to Tottenham. That is pretty juicy stuff for the North London rivals of Chelsea. Worth mentioning, but we're not here to talk about those silly sausages, mate, so we're going to get into the Chelsea news. Well, you'll be delighted and excited to learn that Facundo, what's his name? Yeah, Facundo Bonotte. Good night, tutto bene? Mi chiamo Yannick. He's completed his loan fee to Chelsea. He's completed his medical. He's signed by all accounts. And Chelsea will pay a £2 million loan fee, which sounds very reasonable to me. Not much money. And look, let's back the kid. If we've got a contingent of, we've got a gang of Argentinian players now with Enzo Fernandez, Alejandro Garnacho, and Facundo Buonanotte. So they can all hang out together, that's nice for them. Will he help us? I have no ruddy idea. He surely won't be a starter. Maybe, I'm hoping Maresca's looked at him and gone, yeah, you know what? He's the guy for me. I'm going to use him in the league phase of the Champions League and the Cups. And if he impresses me, which he might, he can play. But, of course, we must remember this is Brighton's player. There's no obligation, or indeed option to sign him. So, yeah, that is a situation we have to talk about. Of course, there's huge Jackson drama and news updates that I am going to get into in just one moment. Tariq George to Roma is currently off, says Fabrizio Romano, the young Chelsea teenage winger looking for solutions. Every time he gets subbed off at Chelsea at the moment, he looks really sad and miserable, bless him. Maybe because he keeps thinking that's his last moment in a Chelsea shirt. Roma probably would have been a really good loan move for him. Of course, they were looking at Jadon Sancho, who have since got the here we go to an Aston Villa loan. Man United sorting out, making huge losses left, right and centre, but indeed sorting out their bomb squad. Rashford's gone to Barca on loan, Sancho's gone to Villa on loan, Antony's gone to Betis permanently for a deal worth £19 million, 1-9, when they spent insane money on him. Incredible loss. And of course, Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea, which a lot of Man United fans will say we didn't get enough money out of Chelsea for him. But again, not talking about Man United, we're talking about Chelsea. But interesting how Tyreek George has taken the place of Sancho at Roma. Fulham, Fabrizio Romano has said, are revived talks. Not just for Jackson's talks have been revived as well, but Fulham talks have been revived for Raheem the Dream Sterling. We are having serious... Why is it always deadline day? Is there like an underlying agreement where everything has to happen at once on deadline day? So Fulham have look, if Raheem Sterling goes to Fulham, it's going to be a loan. We're going to be subsidising a huge amount of wages. I wonder if he himself, despite it being a loan, would be like, yeah, I'll take a 20% wage cut because I get to stay in Fulham, get to stay in London. Maybe like some hands can be shaked all over the gaff there. But we can only hope... that we get the Raheem Sterling. I wish him all the best. And if he can go to Fulham and do well for Fulham, why not? Love it. Go and do Jack Grealish, who's gone to Everton, who's like a similar Premier League middle class. He's doing great bits. He will look at Grealish and think, yeah, I can do that. So let's hope he goes to Fulham, and best of luck to him. Andre Santos has rejected a move to Al Qadisiyah, which presumably is a Saudi side. They offered 50 million euros for Chelsea. Now, it worries me how he's rejected the move, and it doesn't say Chelsea rejected the move, although I would like to imagine, and I would assume, and to be honest, mate, I would put the farm on Chelsea rejecting that, because they've told other clubs to just straight up drop pursuits for Andre Santos for a significant fee. So, he rejected it. I imagine Chelsea rejected it as well. Andre Santos going nowhere. Now, guys, I think I've said this in a recent video, but what luck. I think Strasbourg are going to take Ben Chilwell on a permanent. How have we managed to pull off that negotiation? The synergy between Chelsea and Strasbourg is remarkable. Yeah, look, they're playing Diego Moreira as like an attacker at the moment. He was a left back, so... room for Chilwell at left backs. Ishe Samuel Smith's gone there as well, so well stocked. But Chilwell will look at, Georgi Petrovic, Santos, Ishe going there, Moreira, who he'll have a relationship with, and think, yeah, it's a party over there. Of course, it's an English manager in Liam Rosinia. That he would have got on the phone to and say, yeah, let's get, we're in Europe, mate, we're in the Conference League, you'll actually play this time, not unlike them when Chelsea were in the Conference League, and let's chat, let's see how well we can do in Ligue 1, we had a really good season last season, let's push on again, let's see, not that they'll beat PSG to the title, but, I don't know, maybe they could qualify for the Champions League in Ligue 1. That would be an amazing story for Ben Chilwell, should he go to Strasbourg, which is what Chelsea are trying to do. Right, let's keep this train going. Choo-choo! We're going to end on in just a moment on Nico Jackson. But, New York Times, The Athletic, Simon Johnson and Paul Ballus have reported on Fermin. Fermin Lopez, just this morning, the deal could have still been on, but Chelsea have opted against pursuing a move for Barcelona midfielder Fermin Lopez, despite making a €40 million offer to sign him. 40 million euros, 35 odd million quid. Not much money at all for the Barcelona midfielder. The Athletic reported last week that Chelsea were evaluating the possibility of a move for the 22-year-old and were in touch with the players' camp as they explore attacking options in case of exits, given Bath's depth and position. The Premier League are not moving forward with a move, however, with the player now expected to stay at Barca beyond tonight's deadline. A deal for Bonotte, of course, has been completed. A move which will add Enzo Maresca's options in the position Lopez operating. Fermin started Barcelona's first game, yada, yada, yada. He renewed just not too long ago. And of course, they've got other midfielders. Would Barca have been happy to let him go? Barcelona are very keen to listen to offers. The club have been navigating a difficult financial situation for the past 5 years. Look, I won't read the rest, but this is precisely why I thought there was a deal to be done here. We were reading reports that, Maresca really likes him and he's not a regular starter for Flick. Dani Olmo starts ahead of him in the pecking order. Barca have 2 highly rated attacking midfielders also coming through as well. So because of all of this, people thought a deal could be done. Maresca liked him, but Chelsea simply weren't prepared to pay that much money for him. Does that mean another big signing is dead in the water? Well, look, the Jackson deal is not dead. Some people are saying it's revived. Fabrizio Romano is saying it never died. There was no death to be revived. But multiple people coming out now saying the deal's back on. He stayed in Germany. He was meant to go to Senegal, to his home country, for a little break. But he's had to, well, he's had to, but he's probably pleased about this, to stay in Munich to bring some life, defibrillate some life back into the deal. And he does not want to go back to Chelsea. He does not feel it's the best, and Chelsea, do not feel it's the best decision to have him back in the squad. So this is Chelsea and his decision, which kind of seems grown up. I know lots of people saying he's been treated poorly, yada, 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 and I tend to agree, but Jackson also hasn't behaved the best. This is not the best. I know he tries hard and trains well, but the red cards, the attitude at time over the couple of years, I'm not saying by any means he's a bad player. I'd love for him to stay. Let me just say that. But he's not like some angel that we haven't Trevoh Chalobah'd him, I think, which is a player that we have treated really poorly, I must say. But Chelsea haven't, done an easy, you have to stay, you're under contract. They're probably looking around going, the vibes are good here. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't take him back. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to come back. You got these guys you're using now. And I think everyone's probably looked around like, yeah, fair, let's try and sort this out. Let's reactivate this deal. And of course, we've recalled Mark Gue from Sunderland. Now, have we gone from a player like Delap to Gue, to Xavi Simons to Facundo Bonotte? This is what's creating this concern in the transfer window. Now, the transfer window could objectively still be really good if, Chilwell and Sterling go on top of the exits of Nkunku and Joao Felix and, these players that we needed to sort out, and we batted away all these, attempts of clubs trying to sign Andre Santos. There's a lot of stuff to like about the transfer window, and not least, Delap. He's good. He was a great get. Loads. Bayern wanted him. Newcastle wanted him because he was so cheap. Joao Pedro looks like possibly the signing of the summer. Even if Isak scores 30 goals this season for Liverpool, now he's gone there, he still cost £130 million. 50 odd million quid for Joao Pedro at 23 years old. Positionally versatile. Looks like he could genuinely be the signing of the summer. So it's not all been bad here. So Jackson doesn't want to come back, and this is what the Fabrizio Romano is saying. The club and the player don't think he should come back now. They're aligned on that. But Chelsea, we want the goalposts have changed a little bit, because it was a loan with an option, and now Delap's happened and they asked him to come back and he's not coming back, and Bayern were like, oh, we really want him. Actually, we'll go for Ademola Lookman. Actually, no, we won't go for Ademola Lookman. Can we please have Jackson? And then Chelsea going, well, maybe you can have Jackson in the end, and we won't recall him. But Chelsea want an obligation to buy after the loan, or a permanent deal right now for Jackson to go to Bayern Munich. There is now hope that all parties will work towards a conclusion. I'm just going to guess myself here that the conclusion, will be, or the options for Bayern Munich. This is not me reacting to reports. I'm simply guessing that, same loan fee, and that option you've got becomes an obligation, or a whole entire package, which was worth 80 million euros, that comes down to 70 million euros. What's that, 60 million quid? Buy him now for 60 million quid. Or something like that. There's no loan fee. You just buy him now for 60 million quid. He's a great player. You can take him. Go. Chelsea double their money, basically, from when they bought him. And if that happens, guys, here comes hold on my door. Just as I was getting into a crescendo, the Amazon man. That if this happens, Sterling goes, Chile goes, all the other players we've spoken about. We're not spending loads of money on Fermin Lopez. Do Chelsea go, fine, Joao Pedro and Mark Gue, or have they got something in the chamber? is there a big, because they will be financially in a position, and I may be wrong, but I think at that point they might be in a position to make a sensational last grasp attacker signing of sorts, because they've shown desire to do that before. But there we have it, just as a roundup. Bonotte is complete. It's a loan, only a very small fee. Fermin Lopez is off. Chelsea are not prepared to pay a bigger fee for them. Barcelona could have been tempted because of their financial ruin. Tyreek George currently to Roma is off, but I'm sure there's options for him. I haven't spoken about Amari Kellyman's gone on a loan. We've sold Alex Matos on a permanent, so they are, joins the likes of Alfie Gilchrist out the door on a permanent for small fees as well. Sterling to Fulham, Chile to Strasbourg, Santos rejecting moves, and the big old saga of Nico Jackson. Right, guys, please do keep it locked, because this is an ever-changing story. It's big, big, big stuff here. If you do subscribe, hit the bell, okay? Because this deadline day, you need to be notified, so make sure the bell's turned on when you subscribe. And there's also daily content on the second channel. I'll be doing a generic transfer roundup. I've already reacted to Isak to Liverpool, Football Yannick on YouTube. Keep it locked. See you soon.